Good morning, Giraffe and Lion students, and welcome to pack number 6. So this time we're going to talk about looking after the planet, okay? Taking care of the environment. So we've talked about this before. When we talk about looking after the environment, do you remember what we are normally talking about? So we're looking at things like recycling, and climate change. That means the world around us, the weather is starting to change because we're not taking care of the planet Earth. We're also looking at sustainability. Okay, that means the way that we live, we need to think about the future. So, if we cut down too many trees, there won't be any trees left. If we use too much plastic, there will be too much plastic in the environment. If we waste paper, well, where are we going to get more paper from? We'll have to cut down more trees. So we're going to talk especially about recycling and cutting down our use of plastic, okay? So shall we start today with recycling? And I want to introduce you to a magpie. Can you see this bird here? So a magpie is a famous bird from Australia. Sometimes they are a bit nasty. Do you know when it's spring season, sometimes you're walking home from school, the magpie will come down and try to bite you. The reason why is it's protecting its nest. So maybe it just has laid some eggs and has some babies and it's protecting the nest, okay? But one thing about magpies, they like to collect garbage. So sometimes they pick up the rubbish that we leave and put it into their nest. And I don't think Mrs. Magpie here is very happy about how much rubbish we waste. So we're going to talk about recycling. It means using the things again. Do you know some things that can be recycled? Think about the recycling room next to Giraffe Club and what types of things are in there. There are plastic cups, there are cardboard boxes, bottle tops, some paper that we used before, shampoo bottles, cans, jars, so many things. You see that room is always very full. We people, we use a lot of stuff, so we have to try to use it again. And we have to try to use less, okay? So you know Teacher Tara's kitty cup that I always say, Nathan, can you please get my kitty cup? Teacher Tara has that because when I buy coffee in the morning, the lady puts the coffee straight into that cup, and it means I don't need to get a new plastic cup every day that will just be thrown away or put in the recycling room because that room is so full already, okay? Also, plastic, it takes a long time to go away from the environment. And you see in Phnom Penh, there's plastic everywhere. All in the rivers and all by the side of the road. It's yucky. So we want less plastic. We need to buy our own lunch boxes and bring our own reusable cups, things like that. That's why you guys have your own water bottles, right, at Kombi? Because we can just fill it up with water. You don't need to buy new plastic outside every day. So you guys already understand about it. So let's look at our messy magpie. Okay, what is recycling? Newspaper. Remember, we have a lot of newspaper in there and we use it for our samurai hats, or you see my Sachita and Sola and Debbie, they use it for your new packs. They make you a bag for the packs. So recycling, it says When things are no longer wanted, we can reuse them to make something new. For example, newspaper, when Mummy or Daddy has finished reading it, they can find something else to do with it. Or if you live in a country, sometimes they have a rubbish bin and a recycling bin, and then a company will take away everything to be recycled, and then they'll do it for you. So when you finish using something, you need to think carefully. Can this be recycled? Like my shampoo bottle. Okay, I love it. So when this shampoo is finished, before, I don't know, I just throw it in the bin. I don't want a lot of mess in my house, right? But then I heard, no, don't throw it away. It can be used for so many things. It can become a bubble blower, or maybe you want to put hand sanitizer in here. Okay, look, it's a very beautiful green bottle made from strong plastic. Why just throw it away? There's so many things that you could use it for. You know, we could take off the label and make it into a car, or a boat, or a rocket. So now I change the way I think about things. I look at everything and think, can I use it again for something? Like, Pedro has this puzzle box. So, you see, he's lost a lot of the puzzle pieces. Pedro's not careful with his things. But instead of throwing this cylinder away, look at it. We can use it for lots of things. What type of craft could you make from this? You could even turn it into a Christmas decoration. Okay, so firstly, before you buy something, think about it. Do you need more plastic? And then secondly, if you do buy it and finish it, think about what you can use it again for, okay? Do you know which things can be recycled? I'll give you an example. Paper. You know, when you finish your worksheet, you can use the back of it. You can use it for writing practice, or you can use it for drawing. You can cut it into a shape, or you can use it to wrap up a present. Okay, so many uses. Milk bottles, water bottles, cans. Plastic, so like your yogurt container. So you have some choices with your recycling. Mummy or Daddy might have a recycling box in the house, and they might already use those things in the house. Or you can put that box out, you can separate the recycle things and leave it with your rubbish in front of your house, and then there's special people who come along and they can recycle it for you. Or of course you can bring it to Combi and we can use it to make lots of fun things. Okay, so cans like tuna cans, soda cans, even like your cereal box, you can reuse again. What else can we use again? So, something that you finished using. How about clothes? Do you remember what Teacher Tara always does with clothes? I take them to Siem Reap, and there's lots of families up there who don't have a lot of money to buy clothes. Or even in Phnom Penh, sometimes I know some families, they have a lot of children and they need clothes for their children. So if it's something that doesn't fit you anymore, or you just don't wear anymore, or maybe Mummy and Daddy have something, maybe they bought it from Japan but they don't need it in Cambodia, I can always find someone to give those clothes to, okay? Also, food scraps. Did you know we can make something called compost from our food scraps, so they can become food for our plants in the garden. And these are especially good for growing fruit and vegetables. So teacher Ellie taught me that banana skin, if you chop it up and cook it and put it in the soil, tomato plants love to eat banana skin. So now when I have leftover vegetable, I can make compost like food for my plants. How about stuff from the garden? Do you remember we found all the leaves that had fallen down, and then we made a beautiful picture with the leaves from the garden? And these are some other things like electronics, batteries. You can have many uses for these, or there's sometimes people who ask for them and they collect them. Okay. So why do you think it's a good idea to recycle? Do you understand why we should recycle? What would the world look like if we didn't recycle anything? If everything we use just became a big pile of rubbish? Do you know how big that pile would be? And where would it all end up? I think it would probably end up in the sea. And how about all the wildlife? Look at the sea. How about all the animals that need... That's really sad. The other thing is, when we make a lot of plastic, it's bad for the environment because all the smoke from those chemicals goes up into the air. It's not good for our breathing or our skin. It's not good for the animals. It's not good for the world around us. And also we chop down a lot of trees, right? So if we keep using a lot of paper, we got to chop down more trees. That's why I want Combi to open soon, because you know we're using a lot of paper. We need to find a better way so that we can use less paper, right? Okay. So do you know the recycling sign? There's a symbol that looks like this. So if you see this, it normally means that it's something that can be recycled. Or maybe you see this sign in a building or on a truck. That means they look after things that can be recycled. Like this guy. In your pack, you have a recycling truck activity where you're going to put all the recycled things inside your recycle truck. In your country, where do you put your recycling things? So in Cambodia, did you see the people who come by, normally at night time, but sometimes in the daytime, and they look in your rubbish and they pull out things that can be recycled? But you can make it easier for them. You can have a separate box and put all those things in there so they don't have to dig through your yucky rubbish. And maybe your country has a special bin just for things that can be recycled. We have that in Australia. We have different coloured bins. So normally in Australia the green bin is for normal rubbish, and then we have a yellow and green bin for recycle. In Japan or Thailand, do you have a different bin for your recycling? Okay. Do you know what happens when something is collected by the recycling people? Do you know where it goes and what they do with it? So it depends on the country. Cambodia, they have like a big rubbish dump, but they use recycling things there. Some things can melt down and sell them. Some things they sell to a factory that can reuse them. Did you know in Siem Reap, I have my organization in Siem Reap, and we have a company that is part of us, and they use like old tires to make very nice bags and backpacks and wallets. So they found a way to, and sometimes they use rice bags also. So they found a very clever way to make something old into something beautiful and useful. If your mummy or daddy want to buy some, you can let me know, okay? It's a good way to help Cambodia also. Okay. What about rubbish? Do you think we should mix up all the rubbish with the recycling? What would happen if we did that? Like if your milk bottle, you don't wash it out and it's full of old dry milk, maybe they can't use it because I don't think they have time to open every bottle and wash it out, right? So it might end up in the rubbish bin. So make sure if you've got something that can be recycled, you wash it very well first, okay? So that it can be useful. So how do you recycle at home? I want you to think about these 3 questions. How do you recycle at your home? If you don't recycle yet, it's okay, but you can start and you can talk to mummy and daddy about how you can recycle. Number 2, how do we recycle at school? Do you know how we recycle at school? So sometimes the parents or the teachers, anybody who has some things that can be recycled, we bring it and use it in the recycle room and we use it for craft. Also, we try to use our own bottles or lunch boxes so that we're not using a lot of plastic and not making a lot of rubbish. And the third thing, how could we try to recycle even more? So if you are already recycling at your home, can you have a little think about something you might have forgotten and try to recycle even more? And remember, you can always wash it and bring it to Combi. We can use it to make something, okay? So I think you're all very clever and you all really care about the earth so much. So let's grow up and be really good adults and don't forget to take care of the environment. And then the messy magpie will be so happy. He will have less rubbish to clean up. Okay guys, I hope you understand today's talk. And don't forget, you can ask me any questions and you can send me your videos or your photos, okay? Goodbye.